And welcome here to today's Senior Living. I'm your boy, Doug Foster. I'm your host. And today is August the 18th. This is the 11th podcast for today's Senior Living. Hallelujah. Never thought I would make it here, okay? But we got a lot of things to talk about today, okay? We got to talk about AARP. We're going to have a guest on talk about AARP. We got a guest that's going to talk about church development, and we're also going to have a guest on that's going to talk about what seniors need to know about their finance. He's a certified public accountant with a lot of knowledge about how you're supposed to spend your money if you got some. But I want to talk about a little bit about long-term care. I don't know if you know anything about long-term care, but long-term care is something that you pay for while you can afford to pay for it. It'll help you when you get into your twilight years. You don't have to pay for assisted living. You don't have to pay for convalescent home care. You don't have to pay for a lot of nursing homes. All paid for through long-term care. We got an aunt in our family that is 105 years old. She used to work at the Bureau of Engraving. She was a cutie little lady. But she has long-term care. And every time I get a chance to see her, I always talk about how beautiful she is and what she remembers. And then she'll tell me, Doug, I don't remember a lot. But I say, but you're still here. She said, but I didn't know I was going to get this old. I'm 105 years old. I didn't know I was going to get that old. And what about that lady that's 100 years old, 101 years old, and she's out here driving around, going anywhere she wants to go, walking, living her best life. And she says she is not having any problem. Long-term care, y'all. It'll help you on your way. It'll help you when you don't know which way you got to go. But I want to talk to somebody about long-term care. But if you're listening, please call us at 202 810 2663, and we can talk to you about long-term care and what's your understanding of long-term care. And I want to also find out what does it really mean when you say aging in place? What does that mean? Living out your best life, all those slogans, dealing with mental health. You know, back in the day, I don't remember anybody talking about having issues with mental health for elderly people. I do know that all of us experience some form of dementia or Alzheimer's, but we got seniors now that is bypassing a lot of that stuff, okay? And all of those medications they tell you to take for the brain, forget it. That's just a waste of your time and money and effort. Don't take all that medication that the doctors tell you to take, especially about your brain. I do suggest that you get an analysis from a neurologist to talk to have open conversations about dementia. It's no shame. Dementia is no more than like an everyday cold. But we're going to fear losing our thoughts, I'm not going to worry about all of that because I know God has that in His hands. I know He's going to take care of me. I know He's going to allow me to think. He's going to allow me to live out my best life. So when you start talking about different things as we get older, there's nothing out there that I haven't dealt with as I have been able to mature in this life. And I'm still here, thank God. Wow. And I get up every morning thankful to the, thanking, thanking God for allowing me to wake up in my right mind, thanking God that I wake up with my senses, all five of them, and I'm able to walk, though I might have a little limp because I have a problem with my left knee. I got a knee replacement. But outside of that, I'm moving around, okay? I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna keep on going. So if y'all see me out here and say, there that old rascal is, it's all good. Because you're gonna wish one day, there's a whole lot of us didn't get to where I'm at. And I'm thankful to be here, and I'm praying every day I can go further. Because I want to be like Aunt Margaret, 105 years old, and still not always in her right mind, but forget things. She don't remember a whole bunch. But I love to see her because she gives me inspiration. She let me know what is possible. She'll assure me that things are going to be all right. And for me, I don't even have to even think about it. When you get to a certain age in life, you don't have to look over your shoulders anymore. You don't have to worry about the things that you didn't have. You don't have to worry about the things that you want. I mean, you're not going to have everything that you want, but you don't worry about that stuff. Stop worrying. Stop worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. That ain't going to do nothing but bring about some of anxiety and stress. Let's think about what's happening today. And that's what today's Senior Living about, is what's happening today. It's always a conversation that is everlasting to everlasting. What is happening today? It's not about what's going to go on tomorrow, but you don't know nothing about it. And you don't have to worry about what happened yesterday. You got to be concerned about what's happening today, because every minute is precious. Every second is precious. Here today, gone today. So be thankful to God for allowing you the blessings of life to be able to be here and be able to talk about things that you haven't been talking about, such as your health, such as your family. Don't worry about the friends because they come not dime in a dozen. Let's talk about your family because they're going to be with you beyond your friends. I mean, now some of them are a little deep, okay, but talk about your family. Spend time with them. As you get older, you find out that you need your children more. Wow. You need to hear from your relatives more. You need to do a whole lot more things than what we do now. So let's think about what's going to be going on today. Did you do anything to help somebody today? I know I did. I did something for somebody that needed my help. and I did that. I didn't I didn't even think about it. Think about, did you help somebody? Did you make somebody else's life a little bit more significant and a little bit more important than your own? So, if you didn't do anything to help anybody, or you didn't do anything to encourage somebody to help them along the way, think about where you're going to be once you get to a certain place in life. Once you get to a certain plateau in life, think about it. So for me, I don't worry about a lot of that anymore. Because every day I'm going to do something to help somebody. If it's no more than a friend, if it's no more than a man on the street who can't help himself, or some lady that come up to you and say, can you help me today? I'm going to do that. And I want to encourage everybody else who's listening to me, you need to do the same thing. God put us here to be help to someone else. I don't know what the scripture says, but I know there's some truth to it. So, what have you done to help somebody? This podcast is all about seniors. And if you got a question or concern, you can always call us here at 202-810-2663. This is the place you can air any thoughts that you may have, whether it's good or bad or something in between. You can talk to me about your rent due, your mortgage due. Oh, by the way, did you know that foreclosures 2026 is reached a 7-year high in 7 years? Wow. There are more foreclosures now than in the last 7 years. And they're going to be even more. D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, New York, Chicago, wherever you are, look around you. Things ain't as rosy as you think they are. You don't know what's going on with the guy next door. He might be here today and gone tomorrow. But I hope that y'all get some inspiration out of what we're talking about today. Long-term care. Taking care of yourself for the future. So, what's on your mind, George?
Man, Mr. Doug, you got my mind racing, man. I'm telling you. That's good words, man. Good words for inspiration, you know. Well, and the more you talk about it, you know, the more I feel it's so much of a necessity to let our seniors know these things. And you know, week after week, we're always stressing the point, you know, about what today's climate and the impact that it has on the senior community. And, you know, we really just want folks to know that this podcast is made to help bring those things to the forefront, because there are times where you find a lot of seniors who don't have access to that kind of information.
Absolutely.
Who don't have the family to be able to give them these kinds of things. Some seniors don't even have access to even watch the news or even listen to the radio, those kinds of things. And so we are serving as a source of empowerment to help seniors, you know. And we want to be able to spread the word throughout the community, about the different challenges that are arising, whether
Yeah.
you live here in DC or wherever you're listening to
Wherever
us
you,
from. It doesn't matter. Um, the country really is just not in the same place that it was. I won't even say 5 years ago. I'd say 10, 15. And I struggle with the fact that my parents will soon be going into that similar place, as they continue to age.
yep.
And I'm starting to think now, okay, how do I need to prepare myself to begin taking care of my parents when that time comes? And and it's stressful for me. I have two kids. I'm married and I got two kids. I live out in the suburbs in Prince George's County, Maryland. It costs.
Yep.
I just read today, as a matter of fact, that Maryland and Virginia have now entered into one of the highest states in the country where it costs more than $200,000 to live comfortably.
That's right.
And I'm saying to myself, $200,000 just to live,
Wow.
and they're saying that's for a family of four. That's what they're saying. For a family of four, you have to make $200,000 just to live comfortably.
That's exactly right, George.
I can't imagine what someone who is living alone, older in age, paying for medications, doctor's visits, transportations to get out and about around town.
Yep.
And you're telling me that me at this age have to make $200,000 to be comfortable living in this community?
How you think
That's
they're doing?
absurd.
What you think they're doing?
Man, you tell me. Working for the government, maybe, I don't know. I mean, we do have a lot of government workers who live in the DMV area, and as the cost of living arises, the supplemental income and benefits and things like that a lot of seniors get, or are able to unlock once they get to a certain age, don't help cover the rise in the cost of living. It doesn't. It does not. And over where we are, where the community we live in, where the average mortgage payment is $3,500 to $4,000 a month.
Wow.
Absolutely. And it is a lot. It's a lot. And we drive through the communities every day. You talked about foreclosures. We see people moving out of these communities daily. I mean, the U-Haul trucks, the moving trucks.
Yep.
Those different kinds of things. I mean, you see it happening more and more and more.
And people are downsizing, moving out of single family homes and moving into smaller apartment units.
And folks are always asking, why every time you turn around it's another apartment building here, it's another apartment building there, because they're trying to find a way to put affordable housing any or everywhere they can, the best way that they can. And I know, one thing that I'm happy about this new RFK development is that they say about 30% of that housing is supposed to be affordable housing.
Yeah, well, watch for that. Watch for that. Because that, in my opinion, is a gimmick.
Talk to me.
Is a gimmick. Let's take a single family home. I mean, a condo. Okay, in Southeast. Let's talk about Capitol Hill, maybe. Okay.
Right.
And two students from Georgetown get together and buy one of those condos. Okay? And they'll stay in it for maybe about 2 years or 3 years or something of that sort. Because the rate of inflation is so rapid and moving so fast that in about 2 years, their investment had exceeded maybe 20%, 30%, and then they'll bounce out of it and sell it for probably for a profit.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they'll go on and move somewhere else and do the same thing and the beat goes on. Okay. So what do you do with that?
You know, that's
And,
that's
and a lot of them whose parents will give them the money to invest, okay, into one of these affordable into one of these affordable condos. Look at those condos that they got down in Center City, $435,000. Most of those are owned by young college students, okay, who can afford to live there, and they'll live there, and then when they decide to go back home, they sell it. 4 years, after 4 years, they'll sell it, and they make huge profits.
and you know that the thing about that is we talk about legacy families, right?
Yep,
Back in the day when homes, you know, were not as expensive as they are now, and to say that your home was passed down to you and you preserve that home, continue to pass it down, you take care of it, all of those people are selling these homes now.
that's exactly right.
They are, and they're selling it for top dollar to whoever will buy
Right.
them.
That's exactly right.
And once some of these corporations gather enough land to tear some of these homes down, that's where these apartment buildings start to come up, you know.
That's exactly right.
And before one unit of these apartment buildings even go on sale, they've already sold 10 to 15 of those units to different companies and corporations who will then take those units and upsell them just so that they can make a profit.
Absolutely. And so, a lot of cases, you know, where they are people who are living in their homes and don't want to move. They don't want to go nowhere.
Yep.
They want to stay. But the economy is such that's not going to allow them to stay.
And they know if they offer you a large enough check, you're going to take it.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But then what you do with that check?
You move out into the suburbs, or you go out somewhere between Prince George's County and Baltimore County. Find yourself in Anne Arundel or Howard somewhere, you know, a nice cookie cutter home with a yard.
Maybe
And you sit by the lake on the Chesapeake.
maybe.
Maybe.
But don't you think that the economy in those areas are also increasing rapidly? I talked to a friend of mine who lives out in Prince George County. Told me I was complaining about my electric bill being extraordinarily high. He said, "Oh, Doug, that's nothing. I'm paying $1,000 plus." I said, "What?"
Wow.
And the utilities are going crazy.
Yeah.
These people who are owning these utility companies are making big profits. It's where it's not the companies, it's the shareholders who are interested in acquiring more profits in their
Right.
dividends.
Yep.
And as a result of it, they are upping the ante on the residents. And I'm not saying that Public Service Commission ain't at fault for some of this here in DC. I do know that. They got some responsibility to that. But we can't talk enough about the economy
Yep.
in this city or in Prince George County
I
and
agree.
Montgomery.
And Montgomery County.
Montgomery County is the richest county is one of the richest counties in the country.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. You know, and the crazy thing about it, I often wonder where are, right? I'm a church boy. I say it all the time. Where are our church communities? Where are our community centers, our nonprofit organizations? All the time we used to see churches giving away groceries, you know. Now we only see these things happen maybe once or twice a year, those different kinds of things. And I'm saying to myself, why don't we offer any kind of support? because at the end of the day, it's almost as if we're forcing our seniors. Well, you after you retire, you now got to go back into the workforce, got to find a job somewhere.
Yep, that's
They're
exactly right.
Ubering or lifting or Instacarting. You find them at the grocery store.
Exactly
Those
right.
different kinds of things, and it's just like, you can't enjoy being retired in this day and age
Not
because
at all.
you can't afford to do that.
Nope.
Because let's say your house is paid off, right? Your house may be paid off, but you still have to pay for that transportation, whether you got a car or whether you taking an Uber to get here and there, your medications, your groceries, your light bill,
and your utilities.
and you see
That's
what I'm
another
saying?
mortgage.
And so there's no relief, nothing that helps aid in that, in that process for our seniors. It's crazy.
And your property taxes.
And
Okay, they're not. That's not going anywhere.
Right. You see?
So what are we gonna do, George? We gonna move to the moon?
We really need to get out into the community, man, and just start empowering a lot more of our churches and our community centers, to really look into helping our seniors in those different kinds of ways, whatever support, we can give them. I know at Shiloh, every first Sunday we take what we call a benevolent offering, right? And so what the benevolent offering does is that it helps us to be able to give back to the community. And we take that offering, and it's specifically meant for that. We use that offer. So if folks are in need with rental assistance, all those different kinds of things, you call up to the church, and say, hey, I need a little bit of help. The church will say, okay, let's see what we can do. They'll call you down, take your information, and they see what ways that they can offer help to you. We have the Giant right across the street. Every Tuesday, the Giant used to deliver the bread, the fresh breads that they would make. Whatever they didn't sell that day, that next morning, they would bring all of those breads and all of that produce and stuff to the church. And folks would come down, with their grocery bags, take what they can, and then they would go home. Those different kinds of things that the pandemic has stopped that we really need to get back into doing, and get out of this weird mindset of, I call it silo living. Everybody is just where they are. No one wants to interact with the next person. Nobody wants to have that feeling or that sense of community. And then there's a whole thing where some seniors say, well, I don't want to be a burden, and I don't want to feel like I'm asking for too much. Yep. And, it gets there.
That's one thing that seniors want the most seniors that I know wants to maintain their independence. And I can't blame them for that, nobody don't want to live off of others, But once upon a time, George, I was responsible for doing church development networking, and at that time, we knew that that the church was going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't know whether the church is going to help you or not. At one church I know of, they wanted to find out. The shepherd decided to go and look at your tithe records.
Really?
Yes, look at your tithe records. And if he wasn't satisfied with what he saw in your tithe records, then the spirit of sleepiness would come upon him, and he would just act like that you wasn't even there.
Wow.
But that's all right. We got a guest on the line now.
Yeah, we do.
But I mean, that's what church is for. That's why they got a 501c3. That's it.
I'm telling you, that's it.
So today's senior living is going to be looking into all of that kind of stuff too. So
that's right.
Hold on, seniors. We got something coming up for you, okay? So who would have on the line, George?
We have currently Minister Darrell Davis on the line. Minister Davis, how are you, sir?
I'm all right, and yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Well, welcome to today's Senior Living.
All right, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, Minister Davis. George, can we get him? Is he on the Zoom? There he is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You look a whole lot different than you used to look, boy, I tell you.
Yeah, that was that military look back then. You know, sometimes you gotta look like a civilian.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad to see you, but what's all this stuff down here?
Hey, I was gonna ask you the same thing.
I don't want to talk about it. But Minister Davis, you know, it's always good to talk to people that you know, especially your friends.
Yes,
But
sir. Yes, sir.
I want you to talk about a little bit about the dynamics, the senior dynamics. How would you describe the senior population within your congregation in
Um,
terms of age and living situations and overall engagement?
so right now we have roughly about 20% of our church is over the age of 60. Most of them are pretty much retired from Department of Corrections. We have a few of them that are military veterans. A few of them that are military veterans. Um, they for me for where I sit, they look like they living pretty good. Um, all of them are on their own, so they pretty much either are self sufficient. Maybe about two of them, maybe about two of them have in home care or have hospice.
Let me ask you another question. Are there more particular health or mobile challenges that affect their participation in the church?
I think most of them is just mobile. Um, what's that type 2 diabetes
Yeah.
has slowed them down and pretty much they just walking slow or they had the fluid on their knees and their ankles and they just not able just to get around like most of us are.
So let me ask you, how do you minister to uh, seniors who are uh, having issues with mobility or having issues with living alone? Pretty much most of them are either living with family or living alone. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So pretty much what we do, I'm in the chef world. What you do is you prepare the meal, and you allow everybody to take from it what they need. So as far as getting them into the church, of course we help them, but when it comes to the word, everybody takes what they need.
So y'all do feed the needy.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. We feed the needy, and every Sunday we have a gourmet meal for our members and for our visitors to enjoy.
What programs or ministries currently serve the seniors, uh, and how effective have they been?
So in my region, we have quite a few senior living facilities. The one that I just recently left was Vitality Senior Living. That place was, I have to say, the way they treated their residents, they were pretty good.
Are there partnerships with are there partnerships with local agencies or nonprofits or healthcare providers that support seniors' needs?
I think mostly everybody in there are with independent carriers. They had their own private insurance um, that pretty much came in there, and they some of them get additional care because some of their needs are a little bit more complicated than others. As far as partners, only thing I've seen in there who they partner with, if so, like Cisco, they're in their laundry in the laundry service that I know of from my level where I said I didn't see too many other partners that were, that they work with.
Uh, well, let me ask you. Let's talk about some spiritual engagements, okay? How
Yes,
does
sir.
see how do seniors uh, well, let me say, how do seniors prefer to engage spiritually, either by Bible study or groups or outreaches or worshiping services?
For most of for the percentage that we have, most of them like they like the engagement, so they like to come into service on Sunday and sit down and actually just to talk with the people. Some of them, of course, they bring their grandchildren with their grandchildren or their children with them, so they kind of like just feel like they just regular people in society today. So Yeah, most of them just like to sit down. Now we have a few that might tap in on the Bible studies, but majority is Sunday worship.
Well, let me ask you. I do know that y'all are in a very, very progressive development stage. I'm gonna hit that for a minute, okay? Y'all
Yes,
getting
sir.
ready to, y'all getting ready to do a major thing that at 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 the at the church. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that development that the New Nation Restoration and Delivery Center is going to be embarking upon?
Okay, so we 2 weeks ago we just left our last building. I call it a building because the church is within us, and wherever we go, we take the church with us. So we were looking to we want to go to a campus, and the name of the campus when God gave it to us, it's called the preferred place. So here we're going to have a main sanctuary. We're going to have a youth sanctuary. We'll have a community center. We'll have an administration building, and we'll just have areas that we can do different things with people from all walks of life, from babies to children to teenagers to adults, and of course our seniors.
Have y'all acquired the land yet?
Not yet, sir. We still taking in donations.
Okay. So, but I see that the plans are already been solidified, and I see that that development is. I mean, God has given y'all that land. Okay, there's no doubt
Yes,
about it.
sir. Yes,
And
sir. Thank you for that.
what I see y'all doing down there is going to be incredible. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what are y'all planning to do in the community center?
So the community center, we're definitely going to be doing getting our children involved in different things. Right now, in the city of Columbia, the gangs have such a the gangs and social media has such a major effect on our children. And as a church, New Nation, we have to do something to get our children's attention back and show them we got agriculture classes we're going to do. We're just going to do after school services with them. We'll help them with homework, get them in the job market, show them how to do interviews, everything that our children need, the tools they need to be successful. So it's going to be a lot of things going on in that community center.
By the way, what is the core missions behind the development of the New Nations Restoration and Delivery Center?
So pretty much is first what we're gonna do is we casting out our net, and hey, we're gonna grab as many fish as we can, and then once we get them, we're gonna segregate them and put them and see who needs what. First what we need to do is we need to build up and strengthen our men, because our men are the head of the household. So if we get our men in, once we get men in the church here, I believe that the families will follow. So not only is the man important, of course, mom is important. Moms are the cornerstone of the household, and then the children. The children are so impressionable. Only thing they're looking for is guidance. So right now, social media and the gangs, they had the most influence. So us stepping out in Blythewood, South Carolina, is we're trying to seek the attention of everyone, the men, the women, the children, the seniors, and letting those gang members and even let social media know the bad version of it, that hey, we taking the families back.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because without that, unless you go head on with the gang members, you ain't gonna get them. So you
Yes,
can't.
sir.
I mean, what it said, the word said that the Satan is always gonna strike at the young.
Right,
They're
right,
gonna always strike at the young. And once
right.
they get the young, then they goes from there. And the way they getting the young now is through social media. So
Yes,
what are
sir.
y'all? So what are y'all doing down there with regards to keeping the children off of social media and more in the books and studying and learning? What are y'all doing about that?
So most of us, as definitely in service, we're telling the kids, y'all got to leave your cell phones outside. because if you notice in a normal church, you'll see the service going on, but the kids are in the back, so they still on the cell phone, so they're not engaging in the word. Some of them that I've talked to that said they don't understand what's going on. So then that's when those ones, as they say, that are still drinking the milk, we take them to the youth. We'll take them to the youth section, into where we'll do the Sunday schools for them that is more on that level of which they can understand. So without children, they need attention. They want somebody that's going to step in and say, "Hey, let me do this and let me do that." I believe that a man with a vision is a lot more stronger and positive than social media and a cell phone. But the thing about it is, we just need these men to step up and do their part.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So let me ask you: have you noticed how the children now you don't hear them? They don't speak anymore.
No, they don't. They don't.
They
They
don't.
don't.
They don't talk anymore.
No, they almost like they mute, or they under some
What
program.
what's up with that?
You know what? I'll have to go and grab one of the boys from out the room and really ask some questions, because some of them, I guess, is the lifestyle that they see that people portray on social media. And what I tell my sons is, anything that you want in life, you have to first, you have to pray for it, and you have to step up and do something. So you think you sitting on the corner with a hoodie on and it's 130 degrees, that opportunity is going to come your way? It's not.
No, it's not. It's not available to you.
Yes,
So
sir.
the thing is that that we have to learn as we move on, and we got to learn uh, from our elders.
Yes,
And,
sir.
and and I don't see a lot of the young kids or the young people now taking advantage of the things that their elders can provide for them, the knowledge and understanding uh, of life and living. Uh, but because that's where it's going to come from. It got to come from the elders, okay? So,
Correct.
so with that said, how do you plan to embark upon those kids there and the young people there that they got the responsibility and to begin to listen to those elders like we used to do?
So I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Maybe about 15 years ago, um, I met this gentleman, and we were kind of doing a business venture. When I tell you, this man changed my whole mindset of how I viewed life, what I wanted out of life. I was still in the military. I felt like I was always set in my ways of what I wanted to do with retiring from the military. This man, he showed me uh, he showed me some things about fashion. He showed me some things about culture. This man has ever set and raised the bar for me in life. And now don't get me wrong, I don't agree with him with his football team, but as far as everything else, this man he's left a forever impression on my life. So sometimes when you think you set the bar and this is what I want to be. When I met this man, he showed me what living was really all about. And Mr. Foster, I think you know who we. I know you can relate to who I'm talking about, because that gentleman is you. So,
You
I
know,
so to answer your question, Mr. Foster, we need more people like you that are you just being yourself, just being genuine. And when you met me, you didn't have to do anything for me, but you welcomed me in. You always gave me knowledge. You gave me power. You really helped me with a lot of things in life, and I definitely want to appreciate you for that.
well, let me say this. I'm glad that you're here today on today's senior living, and and I'm going to still call you about that lousy football team of yours too. So,
Hey, we trying to stay positive on here. Let's not bring up the Redskins. That will take your ratings down in the basement.
Well, let me say this. Thank you for being on today's Senior Living, and we're so happy to have had you here on today's Senior Living, and hope that you'll come back again soon and talk about where the church is going and how you're going to be working toward delivering those children and those young people and impacting those kids like I impacted you.
Yes, sir. I thank you for having me. The saga continues. You know, we got to keep running this good race.
That's exactly right. Darrell, thanks for being on today's Senior Living, and welcome back anytime you want to.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, I guess maybe I did do one thing that I ain't got nothing to say other than the fact that you got to live your life the way God had called you to live it. So, do we have another caller on the line, George?
Yes, we do. We have Mr. Salim Adolfo.
I can't believe Mr. Sadolfo.
Good evening. How you all doing?
I am well. Are you on Zoom?
I am on Zoom.
Oh, well, then I need to see you. There you are. Well, welcome to today's Senior Living, Salim. And I'm so glad that Phil gave me the information that I needed to talk to you with regards to all the wonderful things that y'all are doing at the ACC. I'm not going to talk about the ACC today as much as I have, but I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys are doing. Uh, and I want to talk a little bit about uh, understanding the needs of the senior community, especially what are the top needs AARP has identified among seniors in our community?
Oh, mhm. Well, I want to say good afternoon or good evening, and thank you for having me and
Amen.
providing me with the opportunity to just discuss and share things that are relative to the community in which I live. My name is Salim Adolfo. I serve as the treasurer for the American Associations of Retired Persons, commonly known as the AARP, and we are the Anacostia, Bellevue, and Congress Heights branch. So
Wow.
that's
Cover,
ABC branch.
you
So we
covering
cover Anacostia, Bellevue, and the Congress Heights communities in Ward 8. And the things that are particularly important in our branch for the seniors, and this is in no particular order, but the things that come up the most are support for seniors in terms of housing stability. You have some seniors who have homes that they keep getting calls from some mysterious numbers sometimes, or people that try to do things to swindle them out of their homes. So we have workshops that we do with the council for the elderly, legal counsel for the elderly, that gets people an understanding of the landscape in this new world of technology that we're in. So some things which may have started with homes have expanded into, hey, you get an email, it's like, just click this link and it'll take you to some place, and it looks legitimate. You click through it and you got to input your password, and now you can have been robbed of resources from your bank account or many other financial securities. And so things around cybersecurity. So I would like to put keeping your homes and cybersecurity definitely up there as a thing that I find that many of our seniors have to deal with, and sometimes people take advantage of them of. Something else that's also important is we have many seniors who care for their grandchildren.
Right, absolutely.
Right. I know that my mother did her best, but a lot of times I was with my grandmother, and they need. But at least my mother was present. There are a lot of seniors who it's the senior and his grandson or granddaughter, and so they need support in that space. Then it's also making sure that we can have a quality of life for our seniors in the twilight of their life. many folks in our neighborhood, 70, 80, in some cases 90 years old, they just want to be able to go to the corner store and not have to deal with a lot of guys standing there smoking weed, selling drugs, doing all kinds of stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And this is not to beat the guys up on the corner, because we know there's a lot of other issues that lead into that. But we want to make sure that our seniors can enjoy the quality of life during the twilight of their life, because they have a lot more years behind them than they oftentimes do ahead of them at 80 and 90 years old. And so those are some of the things that come up a lot in some of our meetings about what are we going to do. And final thing I would say is, of course, always health. We have a lot of seniors who have a variety of health issues. And it's because, you've lived a long life, which is a good thing, but you don't want to do it in pain. And so sometimes the decisions that we've made when we were younger about how we eat, how we exercise, how we drink, how we engage socially catches up to you after, you've been sipping, a shot of Johnny Walker for 89 years, and now you're 94 years old. There's some things that we just got to take into consideration.
Well, let me share something with you, my friend.
Yes.
I used to be a club owner once upon a time, okay?
Okay.
A leisure entertainment promoter, okay?
I got you. I know where we going.
And I used to drink. And that was 50 years ago. And the only thing that I did in my life that made any sense, that has helped me along my way, along my journey, is that I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, and I stopped gallivanting around the street. That's the only thing I think that I did that made any sense to me. So you're on point when you say that health. So that means we're going to talk about what support does AARP recommend to help seniors safely age in place? What do you think they're going to do? How do we age in place? Are you there?
Could you repeat that last part for me, please?
I said, what support does AARP recommend to help seniors safely age in place?
Very good question. So if you are familiar with any of the things that happen in DC, there is an act called the Safe at Home Act.
Right.
And what that does is it helps to get seniors resources to make modifications in their homes. So for example, if you struggle with getting in and out of the bathtub, for example, having your bathroom remodeled so that you can get bars placed on the walls to help you get in and out of the shower, as an example. There's opportunities to have railings put in, or like an elevator for a chair to go up and down the steps for you. And so we work with city council, to get that information out to seniors about these modifications that they can make in their homes.
Well, how can the community better support family caregivers who are caring for the aging and your loved ones? I mean, you got a lot of senior care people that are working tireless hours, and they don't get the support that they need. How do you think that we should to approach that?
So one of the things I think that we have to do is, as cliche-ish as this sounds, is start at home. Right? And so what I mean by start at home is, do you have any seniors?
You're breaking up.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said sometimes we have seniors in our home that we can support that we may not be supporting. And that's calling on them, checking on them. Do you have a neighbor that's a senior that you can stop by and check? Because we underestimate what human contact does for a person.
Yeah.
When you get a chance to actually talk to somebody and it's not a text message, that means a lot.
You're right.
It makes a person feel good that somebody is checking for me and not just sending me a text message. A text message is so impersonal,
Yep.
very impersonal. But when you can call somebody, like I tell people all the time, if somebody says to you, or you find out that somebody passed away in one of your friends' lives, call a person. The person may not answer, but leave a voice message. So you can say, I reached out. If you can, go to the person's home. But we live in an age where everything is so digital, it's online, that we don't have human interaction.
Okay, it's that human touch is what you're talking about.
Right. And as we become older and we get that human touch, that does something for a person.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A person's will to want to survive becomes greater when they can physically see that they have people in their lives that care about them.
Yep. That goes a long ways.
Yes.
But let me ask you one last thing I need to find out. Why don't you give us your contact information where my audience can get in touch with you? If we wanted to get in touch with someone that
Okay.
represents AARP, how do we get in touch with you?
My phone number is 202-455-6346. Once again, that number is 202-455-6346. My name is spelled Salimadofo. Once again, my name is spelled Salimadofo. And you can email me at info@salimadofo.com. You can give me a call. Got my phone number. And I'm going to tell you, I may not be able to get to it in the evening, but by the next day, I'm calling you back.
Well, I'm going to certainly be calling you back to bring you back to talk more about AARP and the things that they offer many of our seniors around the city and around the country. But thank you again, Salim, for being on today's Senior Living, and I look forward to calling you again next week so we can talk about ACC.
Yes, sir.
Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you again for being on today's Senior Living.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that sort of do it for this broadcast. And as we always say here, stay healthy, stay strong, and by all means, today's Senior Living is always going to be here for you. But you can always call us, and I'm serious, call us at 202-810-2663. God bless.